Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will discuss inquiries on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14 that you all submitted. So let me bring up on screen. I have to first fix this. Give me a moment. All right, I will now bring up on screen. So question number 1 from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.14.8. His other plenary portions also join in him by his inconceivable potency called Yog Maya. And thus the Lord Krishna of Vrindavan is different from Lord Krishna of Mathura or the Lord Krishna of Dwarka. Now, this seems in contrast to what is written in Bhagavatam 1.9.42, where it says that the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna in Vrindavan is said to be the same as the Parth Sarthi form. So could you please help me understand the contradiction? So all incarnations have their own personalities. Still, they are all on Vishnu Tattva level. So I have described earlier that when Krishna comes, all other incarnations come with Krishna within the body of Krishna. And therefore, in 114a says that all incarnations join him. Simultaneously, they have their own personalities. So in 1942, where it says that Shyam Sundar form of Krishna is the same as Parthasarthi form, the different means they all have their own personalities. And same means they are all at the same Vishnu Tattva level. Does that answer the inquiry? All right. Question number 2. It is difficult to understand how the Lord could leave his material body when he departed if his body is transcendental. Says in 114.8. Also, please, could you explain what is meant by the following? That the Lord left his body means that he left again his planetary portions in the respective dhams. The translation was as he left his Virat Roop, the material world. So the Lord does not have a material body. We have read in Bhagavad Gita 4.6 that the Lord appears in his transcendental body. So let's read this first part. Mansi, you want to read Bhagavad Gita 4.6 translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. 4.6 translation. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Hare Krishna.
So the Lord said, I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So even when now, during the Mahabharata times, roughly 5,000 years ago, Krishna appeared in his original transcendental form. He does not have a material body. Now, why this question comes is that we all know that a hunter shooting arrow at the Lord's feet and Krishna ending his pastime on this earth. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2.10, Srila Prabhupada explains that how can anyone die just by shooting arrow at the feet? Even a person in material body does not die if arrow is shot at his feet. Lord's body, on the other hand, is anyway transcendental. Lord does not die. It's just that when the hunter shot the arrow, the Lord went back to Goloka Vrindavan by ending the pastime on this earth. And in the next verse, in 3 to 11, Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord did not leave his body behind. When the Lord left the planet, he went back together with his body. So when in the material world, when somebody leaves the body is still there and they cremate the body. But when the Lord left, there was nothing left. The Lord went back with his original transcendental body. So I will bring up on screen 3 to 11 and we'll read the last paragraph for this. So we have 3 to 11. Meghna Gupta, would you like to read the last paragraph from the screen?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sure. When the Lord was present, persons who were able to satisfy their material hankering by seeing him in true perspective were thus able to go back with him to his kingdom. But those persons who were unable to see the Lord as he is remained attached to material hankerings and were not able to go back home
back to Godhead. When the Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original eternal form, as stated in this verse. The Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body as in generally misunderstood by the conditioned souls. This statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. The Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden of the unbelievable asuras, and after doing this, he disappeared from the world's eyes. Hare Krishna.
Right? So the Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body behind. What some had the misunderstanding. And further, Prabhupada says that this defeats that something that Lord lived like a conditioned soul and he also died like a conditioned soul. No, it does not. It does not happen like that. Lord's body is eternal. He came in his eternal body, transcendental body, and when he went back together with his body. There was nothing left behind. Does that answer the inquiry? Right. Question number 3. In the last lecture, we discussed that Krishna's Shyam Sundar form never left Vrindavan. Rather, the Vishnu form went to Kurukshetra. I don't have scriptural reference, therefore wanted to verify the following. That gopis in Vrindavan and Barsana, including Srimati Radharani, were externally sad after Krishna left to Mathura to kill Kamsa and never came back. Thus, they never took the name of Krishna and instead they take the name of Srimati Radharani, as hearing the Lord's name make them faint and gives them immeasurable pain. Is this true? So devotees in Vrindavan, they take the name of Srimati Radharani because she is the greatest devotee, and it gives pleasure to Krishna when Krishna's devotees are glorified. That's why devotees in Vrindavan, they take the name of Srimati Radharani. The true devotees know that we cannot approach Krishna directly. Rather, the proper approach is to satisfy Srimati Radharani, and when Srimati Radharani recommends a devotee to Krishna, that Krishna, here is a nice devotee, Krishna cannot refuse. That's why devotees in Vrindavan take Srimati Radharani's name. Means they are staunch devotees of Srimati Radharani. Of course, Krishna also, but they know the process very well. That if they please Srimati Radharani, then Krishna is pleased. And when Srimati Radharani will recommend the devotee to Krishna, then Krishna cannot refuse. Does that answer the inquiry? All right, everybody is silent. All right. We'll be having a short class today. With the inquiries will be finished very soon. Question number 4. Was Lord Nityananda a disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Where can I find the scriptural reference, as I wanted to read about this pastime of Lord Nityanand Prabhu and his deliverance of the fallen souls Jagai and Madai. So Lord Nityanand is an associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and Lord Nityanand is Balram. So they are associates. Now, Jagai Madai incident is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Later by yourself, you can read Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 1. You can search Jagai Madai on Vedabase and narrow down to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you will be able to see few more listings of Jagai and Madai. It's easy to find that reference. I gave you one, but there's references other places also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So search Jagai Madai, just Jagai or Madai in Vedabase, narrow down to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you'll find the references. Question number 5. From Bhagavatam 1.14.25 to 33. There seems to be a strong family attachment, concern for family's happiness and welfare described in these verses. Isn't that something we are supposed to be working against? Can you please explain how to reconcile this with the advice of becoming Dhira? So nowhere in scriptures it says that we need to drop our connection with family. Rather, in Canto 7, Chapter 14, titled Ideal Family Life, Shanad Muni describes to serve your family members as devotees and together with devotee family members, serve Krishna. So the discussion that we had last class and in the previous lectures on Dhira and Narottama is that the person, the devotee, is not disturbed when he has to leave the family, say when he is taking vanaprastha or sannyas. Does not mean he does not care for the family. But he is equipoised. That's when somebody is Dhira and Narottama. Equipoised. That's the criteria. So we don't have to artificially frisk away our family attachments in the name of Krishna consciousness. Nowhere it says. So we have to have affection for our family. We don't need attachment. We have to have affection. And we have discussed the difference between attachment and affection in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 verses 8 to 12. That Duryodhan is going on a wrong track and Dhritarashtra is not able to correct him is because of his attachment. And if you have affection for your family members and if they are going on a wrong track, you will correct them that, Are Baba, you are going wrong. Can you please rectify? Because you have affection. Does that answer the inquiry? Silence. I got silence. All right. Question number 6. From one of the question and answer sessions, how is going back to Godhead different from merging with God? So going back to Godhead means regaining the original Swarupa. The soul regains his original Swarupa of being an eternal servant of eternal Master Krishna. Now, such a pure devotee who has regained his original Swarupa may physically be in material world or in the spiritual world. It does not matter where he is physically, because the pure devotee is simply focused on doing devotional service wherever he is. Now, devotees are not interested in merging with the Lord because there is no chance of devotional service. Now, yes, merging with the Lord is also possible. You will hear the discussion about Shishupal coming up in upcoming classes. And that at some point of time, devotees, they get this option again to start their devotional service somehow again. Although there's not a lot of discussion on this in Bhagavatam, just briefly is described. But our focus should be not on merging, not on liberation. Our focus should be to regain our original Swarupa and do devotional services. That is going back to Godhead. Whether I am physically in material world or physically in spiritual world does not matter. Srila Prabhupada is perfect example that Srila Prabhupada was and is always a pure devotee. When Prabhupada was physically present on earth, he was still at Godhead because he was always in his original Swarupa. Does that answer the inquiry? Silence. Do I have to play the critter sound today? Everybody has pin drop silence.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. I was going to ask whether I'm audible or not. Question number 7. When it was mentioned that Krishna and Vishnu existed simultaneously as babies, were they different entities or the same? So they were different personalities. I already described this, that they are different personalities. Now do understand that the Vishnu form that appeared in the prison house as son of Mother Devaki and Vasudev, that Vishnu form appeared not as baby but as a fully grown Vishnu form. Krishna, when he appeared, the Shyam Sundar as son of Mother Yashoda, yes, he appeared as baby. But then we have described that how they merged when Vasudev took the Vishnu form of Krishna to Nand Maharaj's home. But they are still different personalities. And we also read and discussed for our earlier question today that when Krishna comes, all other incarnations come with Krishna within the form of, within Krishna's form. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question 8. When our close family members are so materialistic, is tolerance and feeding them prasadam the only option? How can we help them to come out of it? It's a very good intent. This is the nature of a preacher devotee, that they want everybody to become a devotee. This is paradukha dukhi, that a devotee suffers when he sees the suffering of others. So yes, prasadam is one option. The other is you pray to Krishna for your family members. So you will hear this discussion very soon in Canto 1, Chapter 3. Canto 1, Chapter 3 has a lot of heavy discussion on practical inquiries. And you will soon hear about praying to Krishna for other souls so that the other soul somehow meets a pure devotee and the other soul gets some relief, becomes a devotee. Does that answer the question?
Prabhuji, I have one question on this
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Just queries. Does the family includes our close relatives also, apart from my son and wife?
So Kunti Maharani has taught us this in Canto 1, Chapter 8, where Kunti Maharani says sever my ties with Pandavas and Vrishnis so that I can come to the soul level and expand to all souls, not just to the Pandavas and Vrishnis. Right? So we should try to expand Krishna consciousness to anybody and everybody, not just our immediate family. Yeah, we can start with our immediate family members like spouse, children, etc., siblings, etc. But don't stop there. Expand Krishna consciousness to every single living entity. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. It is clear now.
All right. Question number 9. What should a Vaishnavi do in this age of Kali? Get as soon as married after studies, or get a spiritual master and then get married? So get a spiritual master as soon as is possible, and let the spiritual master decide to whom you should get married. Because spiritual master will try to get, not try, he will get a devotee spouse, and it's easier and better to have a devotee spouse so that both spouses can help each other grow and progress on the path of spirituality. Does that help?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Question number 10. How do we fight the fearfulness quality when our karma and Mayadevi are at constant play and we have no support in material world? How to see Krishna at all times? When in the verse, the Yadu dynasty was physically able to live with Krishna and see his pastimes. So the more you engage in devotional service and the more you get purified, by that same proportion of purity, the fear decreases gradually. Understand that fear in material world is because of bodily concept. Therefore, the more you try to live like a soul, gradually the fear decreases. Now understand that this is a gradual process. It's not like turning on a switch and the light turns off the next day. You don't become fearful the next day. Oh, it's a gradual process. Purity is a gradual process. So Krishna's name, pastime, qualities are all identical. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one gets the same benefit as Arjuna got with the personal presence of Krishna, or the Yadu dynasty got when they were physically in close proximity to Krishna. So we'll read Bhagavatam, which will anyway come up in your next recording that you're going to listen for, Canto 1, Chapter 15. So I will bring up on screen 1.15.27 and we'll read translation and purport paragraphs 1 and 2. See. Raksha 1.15.27 from the screen, translation and paragraphs 1 and 2.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space.
So the situation is that Krishna has left earth and Arjuna is now in misery. So Arjuna is teaching us what to do. Now Krishna is gone. What do I do? This verse is very important in showing now exactly the question that Krishna is not there. How do I get the same benefit? And let's see what Arjuna is teaching us. Akshay?
Purport. Herein Arjuna refers to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord Himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Vedanta Sutras. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was specially prepared for the less intelligent class, namely the women, the laborers, and those who are worthless descendants of the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and higher section of the Vaishyas. The problem which arose in the heart of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Again, after the departure of the Lord from the vision of earthly people, when Arjuna was face to face with being vanquished in his acquired power and prominence, he wanted again to be remembered the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita just to teach all concerned that the Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kinds of mental agonies, but also for the way out of great entanglements which may embarrass one in some critical hour. The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned soul in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of the Lord's manifested energy. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord.
Right? So the inquiry, does that, the point highlighted on the screen, directly answers that there's no difference between Krishna and Krishna's words. Bhagavad Gita, there's no difference. It is Krishna, it's Gopinath. And Prabhupada clearly says one can derive the same benefit from Bhagavad Gita, or even chanting Hare Krishna, or even remembering qualities or the pastimes, as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Last question for today. If we visit any holy dham, what are the things we should be looking for and asking for? Very good. So, few devotees from our various batches, they have traveled to holy dhams and they have followed these points that I'm about to describe. Now, these points are explained by Vidura in Canto 3. So basically, you dovetail your travel with the following activities, and your travel will become bhakti yoga. So instead of distractions like watching television in flight or train or bus, you should use the time to listen to our Miss Class recordings while traveling, Or now airplanes also have Wi-Fi, so you can connect to the class recordings. So just very recently, for those of you who are from batch 6 and 7 Bhagavad Gita, Shruti was recently traveling to India and back. So she had Wi-Fi in the airplane. She was attending our classes live while she was in the airplane. Most people, they either watch television or they sleep or whatever. But Shruti was watching our classes. She was attending live our classes. So this her travel became bhakti yoga. Or you can listen to Prabhupada lectures while traveling. So say sometimes you may not have Wi-Fi. So other devotees, what they have done is they take recordings from me for Prabhupada, some relevant lectures. They listen to Prabhupada lectures or they get our class recordings that they have missed. And when you are at your travel destination, you attend our ongoing classes from wherever you are, unless, say, it's really, really impossible. Say you are in a no internet zone. That's understandable. Otherwise, try to be connected as much as possible. And read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam while you are traveling. And introduce Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to your friends and family at your travel places. So this way your travel becomes Bhakti Yoga. And then when you are visiting holy dhams, understand that holy dham is not for sightseeing. Rather is to engage mind and senses in hearing from Vrajvasis. That how the Vrajvasis are totally absorbed in Krishna. You learn from Vrajvasis. That's why the Vrajvasis are here on earth. They are all pure devotees. When you go to holy dhams, serve the Vrajvasis and learn from Vrajvasis how to serve devotees. Even when you have to go to do some shopping at holy dhams, do not go by yourself, because holy dhams are also very commercial. Rather, for your shopping, take a local devotee and just go to get what you want and get back to the temple as soon as possible, rather than sightseeing or rather than window shopping. No, you are there to the holy dham to serve, to engage your mind and senses in serving, to learn how the Vrajvasis are fully absorbed in Krishna. So a few devotees from our various batches, they have traveled, they have followed these processes to whatever extent is possible for them. We also have Vrajvasi, our dear Ritu, present among us. If you would like to share something. So Ritu is directly from Vrindavan. Ritu, you would like to share something for the benefit of everyone?
Prabhuji, I would say that everyone should visit Vrindavan once. When we go to Vrindavan, everyone will say Radhe Radhe. It's mandatory, you have to say Radhe Radhe. Even to the rickshaw, and on every tree we will find like written as Krishna or Sri Radhe. I would say everyone should go Vrindavan once.
Right. So we had discussed in earlier question today about Rajvasis saying the name of Srimati Radharani because they know the shortcut to please Krishna, you please Srimati Radharani, and then Krishna cannot say no. Thank you. Any questions, comments, realizations? Does that answer the inquiry about the traveling? So it does not just apply to traveling to Holy Dham. If you are traveling, just follow what we just discussed. And of course, if you are going to Holy Dham, then also follow what we discussed about serving there. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right, thank you. So we are all caught up on all the inquiries. I don't have anything more to discuss today. Now, I did mention at the last class that from today at batch 3 and 4, Nectar of Devotion revision has started. So those of you who have completed the Nectar of Devotion study, you should consider to join the Nectar of Devotion classes. You should consider to do Nectar of Devotion presentations. Or worst case scenario, you can consider to at least listen to the revision recordings. So all the options are available. Choose what works best for you. So in this batch, I'm trying to get you all caught up, and therefore we are not doing the revisions in this batch, but of course it is important. So please work with me to choose the option for the revision that works for you. There are so many options. Either attend, do your presentations, or listen to the recordings. So there should be no reason for you all to not listen. And this Nectar of Devotion revision, we are doing it for the first time across all batches. And many devotees were saying, oh yeah, we have done Nectar of Devotion for so long ago. I don't remember everything, and this is a very good refresher. So we have to keep reminding us again and again. So all should try their best to choose an option that works best for you all. Now, we are in this new process where you are listening to recordings and then coming up with inquiries. We also discussed in the new process that you should fine tune as you progress. So I won't name names. I'm only reminding that some of you should think about fine tuning. So it is now mandatory for you all to complete the spiritual endeavor, striking points and inquiries. Otherwise, these recordings will pile up so very soon, and then it will become so overwhelming and out of control. So there are a few devotees virtually present that last time when we were doing services at the Toronto temple, one devotee from our batches, I told this devotee that you are taking the recordings from me, but you are not listening, because he was not completing the spiritual endeavor. And I told him, this will pile up very soon for you, and it will become very difficult for you to come to the classes. And that's the exact thing has happened. That this devotee is no longer coming to the classes because it's now overwhelming. He's like, oh, I am so far away. So we have discussed that at every small deviation, we should try to fine tune. We heard from his guest Chaitanya Chandas that if we don't correct as we progress, then our airplane will land, instead of landing at the destination, it will land at some different place or in no man's land. So you judge for yourself what course correction you need to do. I'm pretty sure some of you definitely need some course correction. So you will soon hear in the next Canto 1, Chapter 8, towards the, I think it's the last or the second last verse, 1.15.50, that you all have to take responsibility for your own self when you are flying the airplane. So you do course correction, otherwise you will be like the others. I'm not pushing anyone. You have to take responsibility for yourself and ownership for your own progress. Otherwise, these recordings, even though they are once a week, our classes, they will pile up very, very soon. Any questions, comments, realizations on this? Shivanji?
Prabhuji, after every chapter, I feel like Krishna really tests you. I don't know about others, but he makes sure that do you even qualify? So uh, I think it's not just listening, it's all about practical applications,
You are correct.
especially Bhagavad
Yeah.
Gita. You cannot just read and just leave it like.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct that this Maya's test, I have described in Bhagavad Gita, that this Maya's test is not one-time test. The frequency of the test will increase and the severity of the test will increase. So, Shivaji, you are bang to the point correct that this will keep happening and we have to keep ourselves very vigilant. I've asked everybody to find a buddy. I have you all in the offline discussion groups, not all, but at least the Vaishnavis, some of you. So you are not even taking advantage of that. So look at yourself. Fine tune. Otherwise, the airplane will land at some other place from the destination. Ritu, would you like to recite any verse that comes to your mind that you have memorized or want to look up on the screen?
Prabhuji, do you have any?
Yeah, tell me which one you like to recite. So let's recite 7.1. It's the base verse. So I also have on the screen. Ritu can recite and read the translation.
Should I read the translation, Prabhuji?
Recite the verse also.
Is up, Prabhuji. You have to scroll it down, or should I open it?
Yeah, here go.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asanchayam Samagramam Yat Yatha Yagnasi Tashrunu. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Parth, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very, very good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. So hearing is the process and doing devotional service is the process to purify yourself and go back home, back to Godhead. So don't pile the recordings. Endeavor. So we are going to end our class now. So you still have a lot of time left for today. So catch up, and I'm going to send another recording for today in the batch. So you can use the time. Don't waste the time. Cricket is not important. Internet is not important. Browsing here and there is not important. Spirituality is eternal. That is important. Meghna Gupta, it was good to hear from you also. You are welcome to connect with me offline now after your delivery. So we can catch up and what works best for you. Can please connect with me offline.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Kunal?
Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, like we are talking about course correction. So, when the plane is in turbulence or when there is disturbance in the plane, it's not on the course. The pilot gets some beeping sound or some signals. But for our case, what is the signal according to you that
Yeah, the
like
signal
you saying that
is,
recordings are
yeah,
not piling up? Or
yeah, the signal is when you don't endeavor, that's a signal for you. Right? Very good. It's a very good inquiry. That airplane, the pilot gets a beeping sound. So what's the beeping sound for us? The beeping sound is that if I am not doing the spiritual endeavor, or if I am doing the endeavor just 10 minutes before the next class, rest of the time I am just focusing on my material things, that's your beeping sound. Materiality, the material world whirlpool, the distractions that we have on our phones, on YouTube, on internet, those are all your beeping sounds. Kunal, thank you for your super excellent inquiry. Does that help?
yeah, yeah, Prabhuji, it helps. May your saying is always like a signal whenever we meet. But nowadays I've started kind of doing all the endeavors. So
Yeah,
thanks for
which is very good. So, yeah, I'm not here to chastise anyone, right? You can hear my tone. My tone is not chastising. I'm clearly saying that you have to take responsibility for yourself. You will soon hear in the next chapter 15, Canto 1, chapter 15, 1.15.50, there's an analogy of the airplane flying. Prabhupada says that when you are flying an airplane, you cannot get help from others. You have to fly your own airplane. Help is available when you are on the ground, means while we are here learning, help is available from scriptures, guru and sadhu. So you have to take advantage. But then it's up to you. You have to fly your own airplane. Kunal Prabhu's inquiry of the what is the beeping sound was super excellent. Yeah, you don't do the endeavor. You just keep on piling the recordings. That's your beeping sound in a very high tone. You know, in the airplane, when the airplane is about to stall, it gets a stick shaker sound that the steering that the pilot is holding. It shakes and it vibrates, and there's a big beeping sound. That's how the stick shaker way should happen to you when you don't do the endeavor and when you keep piling the recordings. Otherwise, the result is already visible. Many devotees across all batches. There was most recent, I explained that devotees who were doing services last time when we went, I verbally told that devotee, you are just piling your recordings. You are not doing anything. It's not just this one. I'm just pointing to the last one. Others also across so many years have said the same thing to so many devotees. But they don't listen. Anyway, I don't have anything more to discuss. I will stop here. I will post the recordings in the batch, and you can please use the rest of the time to listen to the recordings and get caught up on whatever is pending for you all. Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.